And now, Schoolcraft County Weekly with Buck Fantanny. Thank you very much, Jack. That's Jack Ball, ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed announcer. I'm Buck Fantanny. I've been a radio disc jockey for most of my life in Escanaba and Marquette and other places throughout the Upper Peninsula. Today we have a gentleman, a local of Manistee, who had an altercation with another, Schoolcraftian, as it were, in the grocery store. And he's going to be on today to tell us about it. His twin boys, his twin sons, Joey and Bobby, will also be joining us. They're on the line right now. They're both in the construction business. Joey and Bobby Bobolino of Bobolino and Bobolino Construction. Are you there, gentlemen?
Yes, sir. This is Bobby Bobolino of Bobolino and Bobolino Construction. My brother, Joey, is here next to me.
I'm here, Mr. Fantanny. Hi, Mr. Fantanny. This is Joey Bobolino, Bobolino and Bobolino Construction. The Bobolino family has been doing residential construction in the Schoolcraft County since 1946, when our father, Terry Bobolino, started the company. When our father retired, he handed the business over to us.
Oh, well, that's fantastic, gentlemen. I hear, dare I say, the noise of construction going on behind you. Are you gentlemen on a job site? And if you are, what sort of work are you doing?
I'll tell Joey.
Okay. Mr. Fantanny, Bobby will go over that.
Mr. Fantanny, this is Bobby Bobolino. We build custom homes all along the shoreline here from Gulliver Lake all the way to Little Harbor Road. We provide all the accoutrement that comes with being a general contractor, from custom homes to concrete to remodels. And Mr. Fantanny, I cannot stress enough that Bobolino and Bobolino Construction provides the toppest of the top shelf construction in the Schoolcraft County area.
Well, that's fantastic. Gentlemen, we have got your father on the line here, Terry Bobolino, of the former patriarch of Bobolino and Bobolino Construction. Terry, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead and back off your phone a little bit there, Terry.
I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous.
Well, there's no reason to be nervous.
All right, Buck. Well, I've never been on a radio program before, so forgive me if I am a little nervous. I had an altercation with a gentleman at the grocery here in Manistee that I feel the public needs to be aware of.
Well, I just want to reiterate again, Mr. Bobolino, no reason to be nervous.
You can call me Terry, son.
Oh, okay. Well, there's no need to be nervous, Terry. This is a podcast. We're not actually live on the air.
What?
We're on a podcast, Terry.
A bobcast? Well, I thought we were on the radio.
No, sir. This is an internet podcast. We are not live on the air. I thought that was made clear to you.
Bobby, what is this?
Dad, we talked about this. We're not on the radio. We're on a podcast.
Yeah, I'll do it. Dad, this is Joey.
Yes, sir.
No one listens to the radio anymore, Dad. Podcasts are what everyone's doing now.
Mr. Bobolino, Terry, excuse me. Terry, go ahead with your story.
Buck, I was bumming around town with an old pal of mine from years ago in the Marine Corps, Dick Gagner. His daughter, Ginny Gagner, well, she's not a Gagner anymore. She's a Cabambler now. She married Gene Cabambler from Wisconsin about 30 years ago. But anyway, she drove Dick up here so we could have a little reunion, reminisce about old times, tell some stories over an old fashioned. We like to drink our old fashions and play cribbage and, tell old tales about our time on leave in Australia with 1st Marine Division.
Now, I don't want to interrupt you, Mr. Bobolino, but you were in the Marine Corps in World War II, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. I was with 7th Marine Regiment from 1st Marine Division from 43 to 45. I fought on Cape Gloucester, Peleliu, and Okinawa, where I was wounded. Dick Gagner, who was a corpsman with our battalion when we were on those godforsaken islands in the South Pacific, Dick saved a lot of boys on those islands, Buck, and I owe him my life when some Jap put a bullet in my right buttock.
Well, that is incredible. Mr. Bobolino. Incredible. Thank you for your service, sir.
Well, you're welcome, son. Anyway, Dick Gagner came up. We spent the night by the cribbage board, had a few pops, old fashions, and we woke up the next day, and I had a hell of a hangover, Fantanny. Gagner, he could never hold his liquor. How they are in the Navy. Anyway, well, there's no food in the house. My wife, Ida, she died 10 years ago, and since then there's hardly ever food in the house, and those two numbskulls I have for sons, they never bring their old man any groceries.
Dad, I said watch it.
No, you watch it, Bobby. Or so help me God, I'll wheel myself down the Garden Avenue and pick you up by your ears and hang you out the window, and don't think I won't.
Gentlemen, I cannot stress this enough. I cannot have this going on in my program.
So Dick Gagner and I decided we were going to go to the grocery and get some bacons and eggs, cure our hangovers. Now, we're both in our elderly, in our 90s, so we have to use the rascals, the scooters they have provided.
You're talking about the motorized carts, the scooters, per se.
Yes, sir. Well, we go cruising into the store, and I saw something that about made me come out of my shorts. Now, this smug Jap, who I understand now is actually a Chinaman, as far as I'm concerned, there ain't no difference. But anyway, he's riding around on one of these scooters or rascals or whatever you want to call them, and Gagner actually pointed it out to me. He said, "Bobolino, would you get a load of this?" And I look over, and here's this smug Jap cruising past the meats, fingering up the steaks. Oh, God.
Terry, are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. It's just, it really, really aggravated me. Now, I fought against these people in some of the bloodiest hand-to-hand combat in the history of warfare. And here's one of them. Anyway, here's this China Jap cruising through the meats, fingering them up. And right before my eyes, God and the public, he gets up out of the rascal to grab a jar of pickled eggs off the top of the meat desk.
So Terry, you're insinuating that he was perfectly capable of walking.
You bet your sweet ass he was, Fantanny.
Dad, you can't swear.
Terry, you can't swear on this show like that.
Did he swear? Yes. Look, I'm an elderly man. I was a Marine, a veteran of the big one. The big WW2, okay? And I say some no-no words from time to time.
Well, if you could refrain from that, please.
Well, I apologize. Now, I see this Chinese Japanese get up out of this chair.
Hey, Bobby, ask if he was in the Coke aisle. Hey, Dad, was he in the Coke aisle?
What's that?
The Chinese and the Coke.
Dad, this is Joey. Joseph, I am in the middle of something here.
So about the joke.
Dad, did you think of the joke? What in the name of God? The whole Chinese joke. Joseph, in the name of good, sweet...
Guys, we have got to stay on track here.
Fantanny, I don't know why you brought these two brain surgeons on here. They're talking about the old joke about the Chinaman peeing in the Coke.
Oh my God, you guys.
Well, why? Why is that bad?
I don't really see what the big deal is.
It's bad, gentlemen, because it's racist. It's an old racist joke.
I don't really see what's racist about it. Say the joke, Joseph. If you think it's so damn funny, you say the joke to all the good people of Schoolcraft Country who are listening so they know how much of an ignoramus you are. Dad, say it.
You gotta say it, Joe.
Mr. Fantanny?
Go ahead.
Say it. Me Chinese, me make joke, me what, pee-pee and in the Coke. In the Coke. You hear that, Fantanny? In the Coke. I swear to God, you two, your mother is doing backflips in the cemetery. Dad, don't say that about our mother. Backflips, handstands, and somersaults. Fantanny, I built the premier residential building company when I came to Manistee after the war. I built houses for 50 years with one bad buttock. Worked my hands to the bone, and these two bozos are running it into the ground and telling pee-pee jokes on the radio.
We're not on the radio, Dad.
Dad, we're not on the radio. Now, if you two brain surgeons don't mind, I'd like to tell my story that I, as in me, was invited on this program to tell.
We're sorry, Dad.
So, Gagner and I are sitting there, and our rascals, our jaws dragging on the floor, shocked, watching this Chinese Jap with two perfectly good legs get up, grab a jar of pickled eggs off the shelf, and sit right back down. Now, what kind of a world do we live in where a citizen of this country, let alone a foreigner, can pretend to have bum legs because he's too lazy to walk, while the elderly of this town are forced to use walkers and canes because he's sucking up all the rascals?
Well, I understand your concern, Mr. Bobolino, Terry, but...
Danny, let me tell you something. I talked to a friend of my late wife's recently, Barbara Bakerman, or Babs, as my wife used to call her, Babs Bakerman, and she told me that she was in the grocery last week, and this same Jap cut her off on her way into the store and hopped on the last remaining rascal and went cruising off into the big goods, like he owns the damn place. Now, Babs, she can barely walk. And it took her 3 hours on her walker to get her Brussels sprouts.
And now that is terrible, sir. But I think you're getting a little too racial.
Don't give me that crap, Fantanny. Race ain't got nothing to do with it. Now, you can sit here and look me in the baby blues, right into these steely blue eyes that face down the nips on 3 islands in the South Pacific. And you tell me this isn't a travesty. This is an epidemic and communist. The elderly in this town are being tossed in the dirt, face first, and this Chinaman is putting his sandals on our neck, or whatever the hell they wear in China.
Mr. Bobolino.
Now, I'm 91 years old, Mr. Fantanny, and I didn't take a bullet to the right cheek and spend 3 nights in a muddy trench with Dick Gagner slapping compression bandage after compression bandage onto my backside so I didn't bleed to death. While this yo-yo is stealing rascals right out from under the elderly. For all I know, at the time, his name probably was Yo-Yo something.
Terry, please stop with that.
Well, I know his name ain't Yo-Yo, but I found out who this scum is. Now, I called a private investigator, a local from here in town, Jerry Bambler, the premier private investigator in Manistee, and a family man with 30 years of experience to follow this crook and find out who this snake is, so I can out him, because Fantanny, the public has got to know who this piece of human garbage, the dog crap on the bottom of my size 12, you know, who he is.
Terry, it is absolutely not appropriate for you to name this man on the air.
His name is Yip Tai Vo. Can you believe that? That is his given name, his Christian name. Well, it certainly isn't Christian per se, but the name is so foreign to the American tongue, it almost makes me sick to utter it out loud. Yup Tai Vo. Now, I thought it would be a little more, well, you know, silverware drawer sounding since he's Chinese.
Oh, my God.
Well, you know, they throw the drawer down the stairs.
What?
Mr. Fantanny, this is This is Bobby Bobolino. You never heard of that, Buck? You never heard that joke?
Well, yes, I've heard it. I don't particularly care to have it set on my show.
Fantanny, I wish I'd known his name when I got in his face.
So you did confront this man?
Damn straight. Darn straight. I did. I wish I could have lifted this 93-year-old frame off that rascal and grabbed my buckhorn cane and hooked it right over to that piece of trash, all 5 foot nothing of him. And I'd have got right in his grill. But I can't because, I got a bum.
That's pretty funny, Dad.
So what did you do exactly?
Buck, I put that rascal in gear, and I pulled right up next to Mr. Kojo like we were sitting at a red light on Ludington. And if I was 20 years younger, I'd have yanked him right off that scooter and put the hurt on him.
Well, Terry, that seems overly aggressive. Couldn't you have alerted someone that works there? Or?
What? I'm sitting there, nose to nose with this Chinaman, and it took me right back to Okinawa.
So you had a flashback?
Yes, sir. I had a flashback. All of a sudden, I was back at Surrey Castle. And the shrapnel was so thick in the air, you could walk on it. All I could see, in my mind's eye, was the wild, half-open, squinty eyes of this Jap on Okinawa that put a bullet in my buttock. The kind of eyes that you could blindfold with the smallest gauge of dental floss available on the market.
Terry, I'm going to hang up on you.
Don't you dare. Don't you even dare, Fantanny. Don't forget something. And Bobolino and Bobolino Construction, which I am still a majority shareholder of, funded some buku bucks to this Bobcast program of yours. And boy, I tell you, if you hang up on me, those bucks will disappear faster than you can say bonsai.
All right. I'm sorry, Terry, but can you please keep the race comments to yourself? I can't have you on here talking about throwing silverware down the stairs and blindfolding people with dental floss. I have a professional reputation that I would, like to keep intact.
All right.
So, you had a flashback, as I understand it, and then what happened?
Just as I was about to wrap my hands around that greasy neck of his and start squeezing the life out of him, Dick Gagner was all over that Jap like white on rice.
My God! So Dick Gagner attacked this man?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
I saw Dick Gagner kill a Jap on Cape Gloucester with a shoelace.
Honest to God.
As I stand here before you and the Lord, Dick Gagner strangled a Jap infiltrator who would crawl into our lines during the night with his own bootlaces.
Good Lord. Terry, that's awful.
Dick Gagner was good at two things: patching buttock wounds and killing Japs. And now, he's lodged in the Schoolcraft County Jail, facing assault charges. And this human bottle of soy sauce is still out there running around. And for all we know, probably driving around in a motorized scooter at the expense of the elderly.
Terry, I want to ask you...
Fantanny, you have got to call Babs Bakerman and get her on here. I want her to give you the dirt, straight from the horse's you-know-what. Because if this guy was doing this when me and Gagner were there, and he did it to Bakerman, he did it to Babs Bakerman, you can bet your shorts he's done it to others of the elderly in this town.
Okay, Jack, can we get her on the line? I'm just going to ask our announcer and technician, Jack Ball here, to get a hold of Mrs. Bakerman.
Okay, her number is 906-28...
No. Don't give her number on here, Terry. We'll take a break and you can give Jack the...
Okay.
We'll be right back. Buck Fantanny will be right back. Schoolcraft County Weekly with Buck Fantanny is back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Buck Fantanny. We're here with Terry Bobolino and his sons Joey and Bobby Bobolino from Bobolino and Bobolino Construction, talking about an altercation that Terry had with a man of Chinese descent at the grocery store. Mr. Bobolino, Terry that is, claims that this Asian American, Yip Tai Vo, Mr. Yip Tai Vo, is stealing the motorized carts, the scooters, the rascals, if you will, from the elderly and the disabled in the town, with some sort of malicious intent. Terry, are you there? Are you still with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we've got Barbara Bakerman on the line here. We're going to bring her on here in just a few moments, Jack. Just getting the levels situated.
What's that?
Jack Ball, our technician, is getting the audio levels normalized.
I don't know what the hell that is.
Bobby and Joey, are you still with us?
We're still here, Mr. Fantanny.
Yeah, we're here, Buck.
Now, I understand that you two are considering legal action over all this.
Yes, we are, Mr. Fantanny. We're in the process right now of looking into any litigation, per se, that we may need to bring against Mr. Yip.
Joey, it's Vo. What? It's Mr. Vo, not Mr. Yip.
What? It's not Mr. Yip. It would be Mr. Vo, Yip Tai Vo, not Tova Yip. Mr. Fantanny, we are, in the process of having our lawyers look at bringing charges against, Mr. Yip.
Is your lawyer from town?
Yes, sir, he is. Abram Goldberg. His office is on Cedar Street. He's the top litigator in Manistee and certainly in Schoolcraft. Mr. Fantanny?
Yeah?
Mr. Fantanny, this is Bobby Bobolino. As residential builders, it's very important to have good legal connections as far as the business can become quite cutthroat, especially when you're dealing in billions of dollars in assets and a customer base that's, rather ruthless. Our lawyer, Abram Goldberg, Esquire.
What do you mean, ruthless?
What? A lot of people, they want top shelf work, and, they don't want to pay for it. Beautiful. Mr. Fantanny, this is Joey. Look, you got to understand that people take advantage of builders up and down this peninsula like it's going out of style. You show up to a job site, you meet the sweetest old lady who's building her retirement home, and you do the best work that money can buy in the entire Upper Peninsula. And when it comes time to write the check, she starts picking out the cracks in the trim, and the siding is crooked, and blah, 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 blah.
Really?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, these people are insane. That same old lady that's bringing coffee and sandwiches out to the boys when you're building is crawling up your leg with a knife in her teeth when it comes time to pay. Buck, are we going to get back to brass tacks here? This is Terry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Terry. We've got Barbara Baker.
If I could just interrupt for a second, this is Bobby Bobolino. Our lawyer, Abram Goldstein, has called in your program, and we'd like to at least have him come on and give a little bit of a legal context as to exactly what's going on in this case.
Oh, Jack, do we have that? Yeah. All right, bring it. Okay, we've got Abram Goldstein. Excuse me, Goldberg.
Well, this is Mr. Goldberg. Maybe that's a little bit of what we would call Freudian slip. Maybe perhaps you think all Jewish names sound the same.
No, absolutely not.
Well, whatever. I just want to give a little bit of context for this case, if I may. Mr. Bobolino was assaulted by an Asian gentleman in the grocery store in Manistee, Michigan. Normally, I only deal in financial cases. I decided to take up this case because of his connection as a Second World War veteran to my family survived the Holocaust.
Oh, well, that's terrible, Mr. Goldberg.
It's terrible that my family survived the Holocaust?
No, that is absolutely not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's terrible that your family was in the Holocaust.
Whatever. Well, Anyway, Mr. Vo, Mr. Yip, whatever, we will be litigating against him for what he did to Mr. Bobolino's. Unfortunately, I have more pressing matters to attend to today, so I'm going to have to cut this call a little short. I appreciate you having me on your program.
Well, that's absolutely no problem. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Abram Goldstein, fantastic lawyer.
My name is Goldberg, not Goldstein. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Oh, well, I apologize, Mr. Goldberg. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Abram Goldberg, the esteemed lawyer from town here. Meanwhile, let's get back to the issue at hand. I've got Barbara Bakerman on the line here. Barbara also had her scooter stolen right out from under her by Mr. Yup T-Vo.
Yup Ty-Vo.
I'm sorry?
Yup Ty-Vo, my God.
Mrs. Bakerman had her motorized scooter, her rascal, per se, stolen from her at the grocery store by Mr. Yip Ty-Vo. Mrs. Bakerman, are you there? Mrs. Bakerman?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air, dear. Go ahead.
Am I on the air? Babs, this is Terry Bobolino. Hello?
Go ahead, Miss Bakerman.
Yeah, but am I on the air? Oh, sweet Jesus. Babs, Terry Bobolino. Tell Fantanny about that piece of filth. The Oriental fruitcake, to what he did to you. Terry, I've never been one to complain. Well, I know that. But I went out on a Sunday after church to grab some Brussels sprouts and turnips. My husband has been dead for 20 years, and I have no children, so it's very difficult for me to get around. Now I drive a Cadillac, Mr. Fanta, and I drove my Eldorado.
It's Fantanny.
What?
My name is Fantanny, not Fanta.
I apologize, sweetie.
Well, that's okay, dear.
I drove my Eldorado, Mr. Fantana, to the store. Outside of my Eldorado, I'm only able to get around with my walker. It's very difficult for me to get it out of the trunk, but a nice young man noticed me struggling and got it out for me after I had parked.
Well, that was very nice of him, Mrs. Bakerman. I gotta tell you, I love the people in this town.
Yes, we have many wonderful young people in Manistee. Well, I took my walker into the store, which took quite an amount of time, as you might imagine. I'm no spring turkey anymore.
Wow.
What was that?
Don't pay any attention to that, Babs. That's just my two dead-eyed, dead-brain, numbskull sons.
Billy and John.
No, Bobby and Joey.
Hello?
You two brain surgeons, shut your mouth. Or so help me God, I'll come out of retirement and I'll have you peeling off shingles until you and I drop dead.
Go ahead, Mrs. Bakerman.
Well, when I finally got into the store, I left my walker out in front. They always let me do that. I've been going there for many years, since my husband Carl and I moved here years ago. He passed away 20 years ago.
Babs, this is Terry. We know that. You already said that. Your husband died, my wife died. Tell him about the Chinaman before we all drop dead here.
Well, I put my walker to the side near the carts and began to make my way over to the scooter.
Yes, ma'am.
And as I went to put my hands on the wheel to step on it, this young man jumped onto the scooter and went cruising off into the baked goods.
Oh, my God.
You hear that, Fantanny? The savage, dark-haired, dark-eyed beast of Nippon took off in a scooter that is specifically reserved for the elderly. Like he was in a Mitsubishi Zero, and the baked goods was an aircraft carrier.
What? You can't expect nothing positive from a people who have a fried egg on their flag.
Terry, I am not going to ask you again to stop with the absolute blatant racism that you have been vomiting all over my show. I am sick and tired of it.
Yeah, listen here, Fantanny. I didn't take a piece of steel to the right buttock that was manufactured by a 9-year-old in Tokyo, so you could tell me.
That's it. You're done. Goodbye.
Did you just hang up on my dad?
Yeah, hang up on our dad. We got advertisement.
Yeah, well, you're hung up on too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our inaugural exciting episode of Schoolcraft County Weekly with me, Buck Fantanny. Join us again next week for some more of the exciting sights, sounds, and people of Schoolcraft County.
Hello?
Schoolcraft County Weekly with Buck Fantanny has been brought to you by Arsewater Building and Loan. When you need a building or a loan, call Arsewater.
Hello?
And Bobolino and Bobolino Construction. Call Joey and Bobby Bobolino for all your residential construction needs.
Are we still on the air?
Hi, this is Bobby Bobolino.
And this is Joey Bobolino.
Bobolino and Bobolino Construction has been providing a building experience unlike any other to Schoolcraft County since 1946.
Give us a call to build a house of your dreams. I can't find the phone.
Schoolcraft County Weekly
Jack.
is a presentation
Jack.
of Dingle and Porridge
She's
Productions
still on the line.
for El Cerrito LLC and Dungle. To appear on Schoolcraft County Weekly, please send all requests to buckfantanny@gmail.com.
Why don't you just hang up on
That's
her?
buckfantanny@gmail.com.